Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from the Voice America Empowerment Channel, shining love light into your hearts and homes to empower your life with love. We have a great show today, from financial chaos to steal, with Amanda Neely, certified financial planner. Financial wellness enables us to get the most out of our life, improve our mental health and well-being, and achieve what really matters. But it takes knowledge on how to manage financially, how to be financially responsible, to be prosperous and prepared for the future. And how we feel about ourselves impact all key areas of our lives, including finance, that centers on our feelings about money, our relationship with money, and our mindset about money. And most importantly, developing and executing sound financial planning. But many people feel burdened by feelings of lack and defeated by financial overwhelm. And our amazing guest today, Amanda Neely, President and CEO of Wealth Wisdom Financial, combines the roles of Bank on Yourself professional and knowledge as a certified financial planner. And she offers powerful synergy in the financial world that empowers her to guide clients through the comprehensive financial planning process, encompassing goal definition, plan development, and personalized strategies. And Amanda helps her clients achieve financial harmony, cultivate a money mindset, and keep wealth in the family. She has helped her clients break through cycles of generational poverty that have existed in families for generations. Amanda and her husband host the Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast. And I've listened to those sessions, and many of them are like little workshops where listeners discover how to defeat financial confusion, haphazardness, anxiety, overwhelm, and stress. And Amanda uses her years of experience in business growth to develop personalized financial strategies for individuals, couples, and entrepreneurs. And she works with people to find their unique path to financial freedom and build wealth without overwhelm and stress. And she helps people live their dream and purpose. And Amanda is taking calls from our listeners. For USA callers, dial 1-888-346-9141. International callers, dial 001-480-553-5754. And our show today is designed for financial matters, financial planning, and does not encompass legal issues. So now I welcome Amanda Neely to our show today, from financial chaos to steal, to help us move forward on our financial journey. Welcome, Amanda, to our show.
Thank you, Dr. Jean Marie. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we are so delighted. This is quite an important subject for all of us. And Amanda, you see this as your life calling. Can you tell us about yourself and your journey?
Yeah, and I'll have to take you way back to middle school when my parents were fighting about money and I didn't want them to fight anymore. And so I figured out they were fighting because my mom had got into some credit card debt. So I literally sat her down at the kitchen table and we made a plan to get out of the credit card debt. And I sat with her month after month to write out the checks, pay the bills, and make sure that they got out of debt. And I didn't know it was supposed to be hard. I just did it. And I didn't even know that was like a thing that people did for a living. So I went on my whole journey after college of trying to find my career and ended up landing here.
Well, it seems like this is truly your calling. And to really be inspired to support your mother in debt management at your age, that's astounding. Amanda, what is the role of a certified financial planner?
Yeah, I like to use the analogy of an umbrella. We think of like there's a lot of different things in our lives that are connected to money, insurance, like on our car, major purchases, college for our children, or maybe for ourselves, business ownership or starting one, all estate planning, all the different aspects there. The certified financial planning encompasses all of those and helps make sure they work together and all the puzzle pieces kind of fit with one another. And actually, the idea that the sum is greater than the parts, that the parts can actually work in harmony and boost each other rather than compete for your money.
I'm so glad that you shared that, because I think we had a conversation about how we get fragmented, investing here, putting our money over here and thinking it's working for us. And sometimes it's not. And you really help your clients with creative solutions. And we'll talk later about your unconventional approach that has really helped people worldwide. Amanda, how has your work really informed your life and your values?
I feel like it's the other way around. My values and my life inform my work.
Okay.
Right? I get to be the same person all the time. And whether I'm having a financial conversation with a client or whether I'm trying to be a good mom or a wife or a citizen within my community, I get to bring those values in of things like loving people, spreading light, helping empower people rather than telling them what to do or expecting them to do it my way or those kind of things. It's a little harder with my 5-year-old sometimes than I like, but I think that's part of why we resonated so well. So a lot of the values of this show are my values, and I try to put them with everything that I do.
Yes, it's truly, you shine that light on an area that we all have concerns about, and we want to do better and use our money in a way that's going to work for us so that we can have the life that we deserve. What I thought was so interesting and laudable and admirable about your mission, and you can share more about that, to make financial planning accessible and drive to end poverty. Wow. That's incredible. Can you shed light on that? Because I know there are people out there saying, hey, I don't have a lot of money to make a financial plan. Can you, share your mission? And that's probably just a small piece of it, but just highlight what your mission is in terms of your work.
Yeah. So it really goes back to my story. I don't mean to make my parents look bad. They had actually done a lot already by the time I reached middle school. They were actually on public assistance when I was born, and my mom went back to college in her 30s to be able to find a job, provide for the family. And so they had made significant increases, but I grew up in the poorest county in my state that I grew up in. And so there were no financial planners there. I don't ever remember meeting a financial planner until I was in my 20s living in Chicago, and then met someone who was really great, thankfully, and found out that this was even a thing. But then as I started learning more about how to make money as a certified financial planner, you had to target the wealthy. And I'm like, no. What if you could make a living, have a lot of fun, and serve people that actually maybe even need the financial planning more so that they can do things like end generational poverty, bring their families to, send the first person in their family to college, or the first person to be able to actually retire at 60 instead of waiting till 70 or above, right? Like all those things. How cool would it be to be able to do that and still put groceries on the table, for my own family? And it's actually not that hard.
I love that mission, because most people think it's only for the wealthy, and I just don't fit with this whole financial planning piece. And of course, I know among our listeners, there are all kinds of people out there at different levels, of wealth, and those who are struggling. And so we're speaking to everyone out there. And I really appreciate you sharing your story about your humble beginnings and look at where you are now and how you're helping people. And I think before our show, we were having a conversation about your experience just recently working with a diverse group of people. And I know I want to really ask you a question about what are some of the challenges, the most challenging financial issues that you see people are facing and struggling with. And then, segueing into that, what about women? Are the issues different for women, single women, women with children? So please share.
Yeah. I feel like the financial industry in general, not all of it, but in general, loves to keep people confused and anxious about their money, because that helps make them more money, right? To create financial plans or to do tax strategy for you, or even, tell you what stocks to buy, right? That people can charge for that kind of stuff. And if you're confused, you have to depend on them. And so when we're hit with challenges like high inflation over the last couple of years, our pay not increasing along with that inflation, trying to figure out how we're going to break paycheck to paycheck and move forward in our finances, and then also increasing in interest rates. So we're seeing the debt that we do have maybe going up, or we can't decide, do we sell our house and move with interest rates this high? A lot of those questions come up across the board with people all over the US, where I focus on, and of all different ages, backgrounds, culturally, and nationally, so on and so forth. But women in particular often think, well, I'm not good with money, so I'm just going to keep, doing what I'm doing. I can't change. Why would I focus on this? I'm never going to be able to improve. And I hate when I hear that, because I know that with the right ally to make things simple, to do some how-to type lessons to answer questions, not just telling you what to do, but empowering with the information. Okay, here's your question. Here's what some people say. Here's what other people say. Now that you've heard that, what do you think? That's a very different way to approach things.
Certainly. Go ahead.
And particularly for women who are newly in the lead role in their financial lives, maybe recently divorced or widowed, that's a really critical time to make money moves. And yet, who can they depend on to help them think things through and make the right choices? And that's actually where I love to focus sometimes, is on the other side or in the middle of a transition. How do we come out on the other side in a better place with more knowledge, if not more money and more stability too?
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. People who are divorced, or newly divorced, or widowed, and perhaps they've inherited money and don't know, perhaps their husband maybe managed the finances and they're at a loss at where to start. And I know you help people ask critical questions that we don't even think about. I just thought that was so important. If they're going to their attorney or needing to seek legal counsel on things where, like estate planning or whatever, you help them, really gather questions that they need to ask and want answered.
Yeah, because I can't give legal advice or tax advice. I'm not a CPA or an enrolled agent. So but I like, people have questions about taxes or legal stuff. And so I actually help them think through some things, ask them what questions that they might want to ask and have them write them down. And then now they're empowered to go have those conversations with those other professionals. And, the whole idea, you don't know what you don't know. I help them see what they don't know. And then they're able to have more effective and efficient communications with them, often saving money from, having to spend a longer conversation or pay for more time with those other professionals.
That's important, because when we seek legal counsel, we're being charged.
Exactly.
And so you help make that more concise and perhaps help people understand, what does this mean? Because let's face it, this whole financial piece can be quite complicated. And even with the terminology, many are not even equipped to know what does that really mean, and may not feel, astute enough to even talk to the right person. So you're kind of that, mediator in between to help the person, ask those questions and get the answers that they need. I think that's so important.
Yeah. And then on the other side of it, once the legal document is done, let's go with estate planning. Once you have the trust or the will set up, what does that mean for how you need to change things on the financial end? Now we get to have that conversation and make sure your financial resources match what you've done legally as well.
Yes. And you have also talked about how important it is for us to have conversations about money with our loved ones, because, you know, one person may have a particular belief, someone else another belief, and you're not really coming together on a unified approach. So you really talk about having conversations about money. And perhaps after we get back from break, and I know you're going to take us through some strategies, you can share, you know, why that's important to kind of come together and really talk about, you know, money and what kinds of questions that we should ask, you know, as we connect with our loved ones to see, you know, what do we need to do, or what are our beliefs, or do we fit in terms of how we see things, or can we make a compromise? But I think now we're kind of up for a commercial break. Time really flies. So stay tuned for more on this wonderful show, From Financial Chaos to Steel, with Amanda Neely, certified financial planner, president and CEO of Wealth Wisdom Financial, and also podcast host of Wealth Wisdom Financial. Amanda's taking live calls from listeners, so if you have questions, call now. USA callers dial 1-888-346-9141. International callers dial 001-480-553-5754. This is a time to get your questions answered. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com, or click the link on the Love Light show page.
Best-selling authors international news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com. Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on the Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, living in the spirit of love. And we have a fantastic show today, Financial Chaos to Steal, with Amanda Neely, certified financial planner, president and CEO of Wealth Wisdom Financial, and podcast host of Wealth Wisdom Financial. So, Amanda, before we left for a commercial break, we were talking about having conversations about money because it can be threatening. It results in a lot of fights, and perhaps there are secrets that partners have about money or family members, in terms of how they, are using their resources. And there's a lack of continuity and a sound, consistent financial plan. What are your thoughts and what are questions we can ask to begin to talk about this conversation?
Yeah, this comes up a lot because it seems like when God puts families together or spouses together, opposites attract. You end up with people very different from each other in the same family. And that's cool. Actually, we can, build on each other's strengths, lean into each person's unique perspectives, actually have fun. And if we look at it as actually, we know different things. We have different creative ideas. Let's have fun with it. That can be a really good first start. So my number one thing that I invite people to do, whether it's with your spouse, with your aging parents, with your adult children, is let them know you want to talk about money. And ask them if that's okay, if you can have a conversation about it at a predetermined time, maybe in a nice way, like over a meal that you prepare or that you buy. Especially if you're inviting your parents, you might want to buy them a meal. That's kind of nice. And ask them if that would be okay. And so you're giving them a heads up. You want to talk about it. You're giving them some time to prepare emotionally and mentally for that conversation. And you're doing it kind of in a non-threatening way. And then you get the chance they can say yes or no to that. Hopefully they'll say yes and they'll be open to it. If they say no, that's, it takes two to have the conversation. So you got to, ask maybe, well, when would you, right? Is that something maybe we could do in a year or two? Is that something we could do in a few months? Is that something we're never going to do? And then you just have to figure it out. But at least you've asked and you've gotten an idea of what they're open to. And if they do say yes and they're ready to sit down, what I love is starting with questions. And Because, okay, the whole chaos thing that was in the title, and you might have heard in the intro, you might have missed the acronym: confusion, haphazard, anxious, overwhelm, stress. That's chaos. CHAOS. That's what every person in the conversation is bringing to the conversation. And the antidote to chaos is what I call STILL, which is also an acronym, and it's all about questions. And then the first letter of STILL is set your sights, which is all about, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? Where do you want to go in the future financially, or that will include some money to get there? And people love talking about what their hopes and dreams are for the future, what age they want to retire, what kind of vehicle they want to drive, the places they want to travel, what kind of business they want to build, where they want to go to college, maybe, all the different things. That can be so much fun. And so to start there helps simmer down some of the emotions, some of the anxiety and the stress, and helps also see a focus. So then when you're not so overwhelmed with, here's all the things between here and there, but you've got your sights set on a destination, on hopes and dreams. And so that's kind of fun. And then from that fun, you can start going through the rest of the acronym. The T is track your in and out. Okay, how is my cash flow doing right now? How much is coming in? How much is going out? Not any judging, just being aware of where we're at. Then inspecting the progress. Okay, of the in and out that's happening, is it getting me further away from or further closer to where I've set my sights? Again, not judging, just becoming more aware. Are my actions working? How I'm using my money, how it's flowing? Is it working to get me where I want to go? And then that's after kind of exploring that, getting some ideas of where are we going, where are we starting from, how is that starting point working? Then we can start asking questions. Well, like, what would we change? That's the first L. Look for the 1% adjustment, or look for the micro adjustment. What's something I could do, or we could do, to take where we are now and get closer to where we want to go? What's a small change? It's difficult to change quickly. And if we do change quickly, that change often doesn't last. But if we can make a small change, see that integrate into our lives, and then make another small change after that, that's often how real lasting change happens. And so then the final L is live deliberately. That's when you actually walk out that change, make that thing happen, and then you can come back and repeat the process again. Set your sights, track your in and out, inspect your progress, look for the micro adjustment, and live deliberately. STILL. And what I love about this, a lot of people just jump straight to the tracking your in and out. They start, they jump into their budget, and then it's all this blame game of, well, you spent this or you did that, and I can't believe, and this, yes. This starts the conversation with a reminder of, we're on a common journey together, or I do want good things for you. This dream that you have, I want that to happen. And when you've built that love, that light into the conversation to start with, then when you see, oh, you spent $4 on a coffee we didn't agree on, it's a lot more trivial. And you're seeing it, and that may have, that wasn't a good expression of love to me, but I still love you. Or I love you so much, I'm glad that you spent that on yourself because I knew you needed it that day. I saw how stressed you were, right? It changes the conversation. And let's use a parent example. You're not going to maybe go line item by line item through their budget or anything, but you get the chance to ask them, how are you feeling about what your income's looking like in retirement? Are you eating cat food and using single ply toilet paper? I hope not, right? And you also get to then go into conversations of, well, what if you did need a nursing home? What's the plan there? And how can we maybe start talking to an attorney to protect things from Medicaid spend down, or those kind of things too? There can be all kinds of different ways that conversation can go when you use STILL at more of the higher level.
I really love your approach and the acronyms that you set up, the chaos and the steal. Do you use this steal, your acronym, in terms of working with your clients, or how do you incorporate that in? Because that's so powerful. I love your positive approach to really discussing a topic that many find threatening, and it can shut down communication. So I love your approach in terms of really looking at what are the dreams, what are things that we want to do, how can we support each other, what are common things that we like to do. If you're in a partnership, or even if you're working with your parents or whatever, you've shed light on that in terms of aging parents, and the support that can be, the communication that needs to be held with our aging parents. So thank you for sharing that. But your STEAL acronym, do you apply that in your work with your clients? Because it's even the term is settling.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got various ways that we use it. One of the things is I have a PDF with the STILL method, kind of written out with questions at each stage that people can bring to those conversations to then use those questions as they go through that idea together, or use themselves to journal, or kind of think things through, have a predetermined agenda, basically, when you're sitting down to look at financial matters. And then I also have some places where I walk people through how to do it in a little more depth. How do you know where your site should be? Are you doing it right? All those kind of questions that come up as people use it. I've got a whole online video series that walks them through. And then when I'm working one-on-one with folks all over the U.S., I'm exactly doing that. We're talking about their goals, their concerns about money, first and foremost. We're talking a little bit about their cash flow and where all their assets and debts are right now, and how that's jiving with getting them where they really want to be. And then we start talking about, okay, what's the adjustments that we can make, and what makes most sense first. And that's often creating a foundation of financial, like money that's safe and available to use for whatever they need. And we often are using the bank on yourself concept to do that. But then we keep making changes from there. What else do we need to talk about? Maybe it's budgeting. Maybe it's growing your business or growing your income, asking for that raise. Maybe it's shifting a little bit of how your 401k is invested. We get to have all kinds of fun conversations from there.
I love how you're approaching making it more of a fun thing here. And you obviously give like homework or whatever, or those reflective I think I was listening to one of your shows, and you do a lot of like reflective kind of questioning, or, so that individuals can gain more insight into, how they're operating or what their beliefs are or thoughts are. And I love that you're encouraging journaling. So that's really great.
Yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out, because when people so we named our company Wealth, Wisdom, Financial. And we love to remind people all the time, wealth is about a lot more than just money, right? You want to have physical wealth, the healthy bodies. You want to have emotional wealth, relational wealth, all those kind of things. But also wisdom. A lot of people think wisdom is actually just knowledge, more information. And what wisdom really is in our books is actually knowing the right questions, because you can find all kinds of answers, but if you're asking the wrong question, the answer might not apply to you. And so it's why we love to know, put out there into the world that wisdom is actually knowing the right questions to ask, because then you immediately find the right answer if you know the right question to ask.
I like that. I love that. Most financial plans encompass, limited spending, make a budget, invest in the stock market, even though the future is uncertain. However, you take more of a unconventional approach, and you offer creative solutions. You open the door to, help people look long-term and live the lifestyle that they love. And I love what you just said about wealth being more than just the money, but, the physical, the physical aspect, emotional aspect, relational aspect of that. It makes it more comprehensive. And your approach, I love that. It's more kind of unique, systematic. We're kind of accustomed to more of a fragmented approach, investing here, there, or whatever, and you kind of pull it together in an integrated fashion and really educate your clients and give them the knowledge on an insight on the right questions and, really, what they're doing and, is it really working for them?
Yeah. Can I give you another example?
Sure.
Okay. So this is something anyone can do right now. You don't have to know anything about money. You can just do this. Pull up your most recent bank or credit card statement or both, where you just have a list of recent transactions. Get a pen or a marker, a highlighter that's your favorite color, and another one that's your least favorite color. And go through each transaction and assign it a color. And if you're not, I'm kind of indifferent about this, you don't have to assign it a color, but try to find your favorite things and your least favorite things. And if you have a partner, have them do this as well without talking about it, just explain the exercise. And then you can come back and rather than, doing a budget analysis and talking about how do we spend less and what are we going to cut, you can instead have a conversation of how do we shift from the things that are not bringing us joy to have more to put toward what will bring us joy.
I love that approach. Any others? I love that. That's simple, but it starts a conversation, right?
Right. And it becomes less restrictive then because you're not cutting anything. You're shifting what's causing you stress and anxiety and overwhelm and feels haphazard and confusing into things that actually improve your life, right? If that latte is something that brings you a ton of joy, then do that. But think, the money that I spent on gas isn't bringing me joy. I'm going to actually maybe see if my boss will let me work one day from home to save on my gas money so I can still have that latte. You get to make those kind of trade-offs and be creative and experimental about it rather than just feeling, well, I got to cut the latte, right? And so you get more creative solutions. You get things that actually work rather than just feeling like you have to be disciplined and cut all the things out of your life.
I like that because perhaps the reward will be for that latte, that special latte that you would like after you really, move toward a certain place in terms of your financial plan or whatever. So it still can be a reward at some point, but maybe you're not doing it every day, but it's a reward for, success in your
right. Yeah. And then what that can grow into when you're looking at those little things and you're being faithful and joy filled with those little things is then you can do things like see that you experience joy from seeing a pile of money get bigger. Wouldn't that be cool? Right. And, but also and then you start to see, well, it hurts my joy when that pile of money takes any kind of decrease that's totally outside my control. And so then you have to think about, well, what money am I okay doing that with? Volatility, but what money do I want safe and growing no matter what happens in the economy or the stock market? And that's actually possible to do those kind of things, but you have to have that creativity to see those things. You'd be open-minded. And you have to get to the point where actually, seeing a pile of money increase is going to bring me a lot of joy.
Yes, I love your creative solutions. Well, we're ready for another commercial break. So to our listeners, don't go away. We'll be right back with more on From Financial Chaos to Steal with our amazing guest, Amanda Neely, Certified Financial Planner, President and CEO of Wealth Wisdom Financial, and podcast host of Wealth Wisdom Financial. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're all in this together. Embrace one another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com, or click the link on the Love Light show page.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. And if you're just joining us, we are with our amazing guest, Amanda Neely, certified financial planner, president and CEO of Wealth Wisdom Financial, and host of the Wealth Wisdom Financial podcast. And Amanda, our show today, Financial Chaos to Steal. And Amanda, one of the things that I like to touch on, there are a lot of people who have a lack mindset and they feel undeserving. What are your thoughts about that? If they have these beliefs that are negative, that really impact, the lack of financial progress.
Yeah. And, I don't think any of us are born feeling that way, that we lack and we don't deserve. We actually are kind of born selfish and think we're the center of the world. And somewhere along the way, we get told something happens to us that makes us feel like we don't deserve things, that we need to be in the back of the room rather than on the front stage, those kind of things. And I think that happens to every single person at some point, maybe when they're a kid, maybe when they're much older, doesn't matter. It happens to all of us. And I think other than like therapy and working with, a professional who can do that kind of healing with you, which is awesome, do that. But also the other way to counteract that is who you choose to surround yourself with. There are masterminds, communities, groups of people who are pouring into each other. They're increasing the love and the light out in the world. And you can choose to be part of those groups. It could be a faith community. It could be a networking group, a mastermind, right? Like all kinds of different things. And it could be around money or just not even around money, but people that are going to raise your level of self-worth. They have confidence that you don't have yet, and you want to be more like them. That's who you want to kind of surround yourself with. Find a mentor, find a group like that. And that also means that you choose a financial professional who's going to empower you, build your confidence, pour into that abundance mindset and that you are capable and you can do things. Which I don't know if you've ever met with a financial professional, they often don't do that. They do the opposite. They say, well, just give me your money, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think more and more the financial industry is moving toward empowerment and allyship rather than advising or just doing it for you. And I want to see that happen more and more, but that I want people to know that those financial professionals exist. I am one of them. I refuse to not be one of them. I have to live life this way because, again, I'm bringing my values into my business, not the other way around. And so know that I'm not the only one. I know for sure. But also, if you can't find one, some close to you that's like that, I'd love to chat with you and see how I can help you, or in my circle, who I could introduce you to that could be of service in that way.
I love that, because when we look at mindsets and the confidence and, getting past this unworthiness or not deserving, and, your emphasis on, connecting to support groups, faith networks, or mastermind groups, or whatever, things that you can do in the midst of financial planning to really help you empower yourself and change your mindset. And of course, even on our shows, we have many shows on Love Light with experts who really help with self-empowerment and self-love and changing beliefs. So thank you for sharing that aspect, because how we feel about ourselves really impact all areas of our lives. And if we change that mindset, I think it'll be that little thread that interweaves in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah. And I feel like there's some people listening that need to hear this right now. So I'm going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
You are worthy of wealth. You are worthy of wisdom. By being human, you are one of the best creations ever. And you deserve everything that you want. And I want that for you. I know Dr. Jean Marie wants that for you. All you got to do is take some action, start moving toward it. One of my favorite quotes that I've come across recently comes from Seneca, a philosopher from, thousands of years ago. And he said, all you got to do is begin. Mm-hmm. You don't have, and then Martin Luther King Jr. said it too. You don't have to see the whole staircase, only the first step. Yes.
So empowering. So empowering. So tell us about your podcast, how resources that you have, and how people can connect with you. Do you work globally or just with the States or what?
Yeah, so our podcast is available everywhere, and you'll hear positive, encouraging messaging there. It's a Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also on YouTube if you prefer video. We put all of our podcasts out there in video as well. And we focus primarily on the U.S. for our deeper work, just because we know the U.S. laws and, financial regulations and all that the best. But we also have people in our online community from all over the world. And that's where we talk more about mindset and strategy and things that are more applicable no matter what the local law is in your area. I think I answered your question. The whole idea is anybody can be part of the bigger work that we do. That's more, 30,000 foot view mindset kind of things. And then for people that want the one-on-one financial planning work that we do, it's more for the U.S. only.
Well, I've tuned into your podcast and they're excellent. And again, you really help listeners engage in those reflective questions. And, I think we have to, it makes you more self-aware, and get you in tune to how you're being with yourself in terms, from not only just financially, but overall. So I love your approach and I love your podcast. And so if listeners want to tune into your podcast, where do they go?
The best place to get all the links is our website. It's wealthwisdomfp, as in financial podcast.com, wealthwisdomfp.com. And if you want to, at the end of that, put /still, STILL, and it'll take you right to my Still Method playbook where I've got all of the questions that you can bring to that next conversation around money. Totally free, no obligation. It's just there as a gift for you.
I love that. Align with STILL, and you introduced us to that acronym. So now you're taking the listeners to the podcast STILL, where they can get in tune to more reflective questions and strategies to talk about with loved ones, or even, just individually looking at your situation or whatever, a way to begin. I love the quote that you brought up. It's never too late to begin, right?
Right. And all we have to do is begin. Yes. We don't have to figure it all out before we begin.
Yes. Even though it may seem quite complicated. And Amanda, do you have a gift for our listeners who are tuning in?
Yes. I love living in the spirit of the gift. I heard that in your intro that, this is a gift being here together. And I love giving gifts and living in the gift economy with folks. So I have actually on my website, wealthwisdomfp.com, you'll see an invitation to schedule a discovery call where we can chat for 15, 20 minutes. I can answer some initial questions, give you a little boost on your financial journey. And if you want to do more than that, we'll talk about what that looks like, but no obligation or requirement to do anything more.
That is beautiful. Do you have a favorite story on perhaps someone you work with where you saw a significant change?
Oh, so many.
I know there's so many.
So one recently, I was chatting with someone who had never really had a financial ally before. They'd kind of looked around looking for someone and never felt totally comfortable with anyone. And this individual ended up sharing with me something that I don't think they had shared with any other financial professional. And they were actually scared to share it because they didn't want it to ruin the relationship. And they thought that it could have adverse impact on their financial future. And it was so fun to acknowledge their truth, acknowledge where they were coming from, and also let them know that this actually is not going to do any harm. It might even be helpful for their financial future, and to share why. And to see that total reversal of what they thought was true and be able to share, actually, it's the opposite, that took that fear that they had and made it into light, into love. And it was so fun. I just feel so privileged.
How beautiful, because I know people maybe there's some embarrassment, about their financial issues or secrets there that they haven't really shared with others. And you really provide that space for people to open up and share. How beautiful is that? Amanda, thank you so much. Very nicely done. Thank you for being here on Love Light today on this empowering episode. This has certainly been informative, motivating, and encouraging, showing us how to be inspired to take control of our financial situation and use the expertise of professionals like yourself. So thank you so much for being here. And to our listeners, tune in to the podcast. There's a wealth of information.
This has been so much fun. I thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Amanda. It's really been great. And we invite listeners to listen back on demand and share our show with others. Tune in next week for our show, How to Be Happy and Whole No Matter What, with Dr. Valerie Shepherd. Strengthen and embody the practice of love in your daily life by accessing your weekly love practice exercise posted on the blog pages of my websites, JeanFerrisJourney.com and Dr. Jean Marie Ferris, ConsciousLoving.com. Much gratitude to the Voice America team for making this show a reality and for shining their love light around the world. You know, there's no shortage in the universe. Be open to receive with grace and ease. Access my article published in Savannah East, How to Live a Spiritually Abundant Life. I highlight, be generous, be content, be simplistic, and be gracious. We've learned today that we can be in control of our financial well-being. That's our responsibility. No matter where you are, it's never too late to begin again, to live the life of our dreams, to do good in the world, to leave a legacy for future generations. Take advantage of the support and the resources that are available. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from Voice America. And until we meet again, remember, an empowered self is a loving self. And keep your love light shining. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Farish again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.